I'm Reeves Kurtner, and this is Season 2 of In Your Business. In Your Business is presented by Moses Auto Mall of Huntington, online at mosesmeadsmore.com, and powered by the Huntington Regional Chamber of Commerce and Kindred Communications. In this episode, we're excited to be joined by Noelle Horsfield, owner and founder of Full Circle Gifts and Goods, a unique company known for their eclectic range of novelty items, from shirts, cups, candles, gift cards, hats, and now plants. Full Circle is a business that isn't afraid to change and adapt. Noelle shares with us how Full Circle began as a custom ceramic shop, then expanded to sell unique gifts, implemented online shopping due to COVID, and now added plants. She'll tell us what has driven their transitions, the challenges they faced, and the strategies that have led to their success. Let's get in your business. Before we get started, give us an overview of Full Circle Gifts and Goods. Let's talk about what it is now, then we'll go back in time. So an overview of what the store is now.
So what it is now is we describe it as a unique underground gift shop.
Okay.
Because it does, the fact that we are kind of on a lower level, you have to look for us to find us.
Yeah, you're literally underground. You're on the basement at Heritage Station, yes.
It doesn't feel like a basement because it's all windows in the front.
That's right.
That's what it is. With unique gifts, we're very inclusive, that's part of who we are, open to everyone.
Yeah.
Interested in knowing customers, knowing what they like, knowing about their lives, connecting with people, building a community with the shop.
Yeah.
And we just added a dedicated area for houseplants.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talk about your unique gifts. Like, shirts, hats, cups, candle.
Pillows.
Yes.
Unique handmade stuff.
Yeah.
Everything we have in the shop is from an individual maker or another small business.
Okay.
So you might occasionally find something where one of our artists has kind of quote unquote hit it big.
Okay.
And had something in Target or someplace like that.
Okay.
And we're always really happy to see that happen for them. But the focus is on unique, small made things.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Not things that you can find everywhere else.
Right. And like I said, I could go in there, or again, before we got started, I said I could go in there for 15 minutes and spend $250 or whatever it is. There's just cool stuff in there. You're like, oh, this would be perfect for such and such or whatever. So that's my recommendation. Like if you got somebody who likes unique things, quirky items, yes, stop there for sure. You know, talk about your plants. I remember, I feel like maybe for the last year or so, you started doing the like the glass plants, right? Like the ones that grow. Help me out. You put like the glass, like almost in a bowl.
Oh, terrarium.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on. Like I'm not an expert on anything. So
I was confused for a second. No. So yes, we did. I did do a few terrariums.
Yeah. Is that that's where your plant? That's where you kind of started, right? Like
with the plants in the shop. Yeah. I've been into plants for years, and it's just kind of it snowballed in the past couple years, and has been something that I'm a lot more interested in, and we probably have 150 plants at home.
Yeah.
So it's basically what I do when I'm not at the shop. And we were going to these small, unique plant shops in Columbus and Cleveland and different places when we would go. And we just thought, everybody missed the potted edge.
Okay.
We heard that a lot.
Yeah.
I know from like Facebook and friends and stuff that there's a big houseplant community, I guess, in the area, and they kind of, other than going to Grits, which is wonderful, they have a great selection and we love them. It just takes a minute to get there.
That's right.
We just thought, we have space that's our space in the shop that we can carve out as big of a space as these shops in these bigger cities have.
Okay.
And so that's what we did. We just reduced our kind of area behind the wall.
Yeah, the office area, like what
Which was meant for shipping and making things and that kind of. We're shipping stuff. We're just not as much as like we were during the pandemic and that kind of stuff. So I don't feel like we really needed it.
Okay.
So we don't really feel the loss on that end of it.
Yeah.
And so we just created that space, and it's unique stuff that you can't find everywhere. Everything's cared for, unlike a big box store.
Sure.
It's been great. People have been really excited about it. It's bringing in a different customer base. It's
So let's go back to the beginning of Full Circle, because when it first started, it was ceramics.
Yeah.
Right. So talk about the inception and what that was and all that.
So the beginning was that I was working from home as a ceramic artist, and it's a pretty lonely, lacking community existence to just make things in your home and try to find some place to sell them. And at that point, I would say, almost exclusively shipping things to larger cities.
How long ago was this?
We opened in 2016.
Okay.
So in the couple years before that, that's basically what I was doing.
Sure.
And the space came up at Heritage, and we decided to just give me a place to work outside of the house because the rent's decent. It felt doable. But I remember thinking, that Kevin, who was the park director at that time, was like, I think you're going to make some money here. And I thought, I hope I can pay rent.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So, we just got such a good, reception and so much support.
You know what? And something
snowballed.
that I feel like people don't talk about this enough, and help me if I'm wrong, but people don't talk about Heritage Station. It's almost like a little small business incubator. I mean, look at Butter It Up, right? And you took some of their space, or did you not? Yeah.
Yep,
right. When they moved out, you took some of their. So they moved, to Third Avenue to the Market. Did Brown Dog Yoga start there?
Yeah.
100%, and now they are in Barboursville, and they've expanded.
Yeah.
And then you've expanded.
Yep.
Obviously, too.
Yep.
I mean, it's just a good story, right? Or look at Summit Beer
Same
Station.
thing. Same.
It's
and Sip as well.
That's godly.
Yeah.
So people don't talk about that enough. That Heritage Station has become a small business incubator. Some people have stayed and expanded or moved to 100 more square feet, 500 more square feet, or whatever. But that's a really good story, right?
Absolutely, and that's another thing that the Parks Department does, because they own Heritage Station.
That's right.
And upkeep, care for.
That's right.
Everything.
That's right. Yeah, that's cool. So when you opened up as a ceramic, pottery shop, right? Right. Then you started selling some T-shirts,
right,
at the same time. So when did you make the transition from focusing on ceramics, some T-shirts, to what it's become now? So
as you mentioned, when Butter It Up left, we moved over to that side of the downstairs, which was probably twice as big as what we had to start out with.
Sure.
And thought, well, we can add things that you can't find locally, because I feel like we have a good grasp on what people are looking for, what they like, and what we like and feel is lacking in the area.
Okay.
At that time, I think the Mug and Pia, which was a little stationery shop, they closed right about that time. So then that left not a lot of options for greeting cards downtown.
Okay.
So we thought, well, we'll have unique greeting cards that you can't find anywhere else. And it really, I kind of hate the word grew organically, but it really did.
Okay.
In terms of listening to customers and seeing what worked and just adding and adding and adding and adding.
Sure.
Slowly.
You said seeing what works. What have you seen things that haven't worked that you thought would?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I got you.
and because it's just us, because it's just Scott and I,
your husband.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I pick out nearly everything. I would say 99.9% of the stuff in the shop has been chosen by my hand.
Okay.
So I feel the successes, and I also feel the real duds that are like, oh God, I thought people were going to love those.
That's retail.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Because I'm sure you don't buy. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't go, oh, I like this, so it will sell. No, you think, no, Huntington will like this, so it will sell, right? You don't put everything in there.
I do, but often the things that I choose in that way are the ones that don't do as well.
The ones that you think, but I don't necessarily like it?
Yes.
Okay. Right, I got it.
So
you're like, you know what? I got to stick with my gut more often.
I have tried to be more like, would I use this? Would I wear this? Would I buy this?
Okay.
So it's a funny line to walk sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's what I try to do.
Let me ask you this too. Again, I love your store, and you're gonna see the F word when you walk in that store, and you might see the C word, you might see the S8, you might see all kinds of words in there.
All the words.
What's your philosophy behind that? What about, kids and all that kind of fun stuff? Does that ever, I mean, people, of course, get offended by anything.
Do people ever get offended? Is that...
Yeah, well, whatever. Not necessarily. Like, I'm thinking for myself, do I want to take my 9-year-old in there? I don't know. But anyway, what's your philosophy behind some of the materials that you have and kids and all that kind of stuff?
So very early on, we had like one complaint to the park department. And at that time, it was my ceramic work.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
Okay.
And it was...
It was like doggy bowls with it was great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was always presented in a positive way. Like it wasn't aggressively negative towards anyone.
That's right.
It was fun, or the kind of advice that I would give someone who's having a difficult
like
day.
F and rock out your day, or being just like, hey, F and kill today, right? Like
Yes. So it was always that kind of thing. But somebody did say something to the Parks Department, and we ended up putting the profanity in use sign.
There you go.
On the door that I handmade.
Yes.
And it has turned out, honestly, most of the time, people come in because of it, and because it's something different.
Of course.
It catches people's eyes.
People like shock value every now and then, right?
Yes.
I'll tell you a funny story. So one of my best friends, one year you were at Rails and Ales.
Yeah.
And he bought spontaneously, after having, 10 samples of beer or whatever that day, the Huntington F Yeah shirt.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
the Huntington F Yeah shirt.
The green one.
And yes, the green and white one. And I was just like, when and where are you going to wear this? And it's like he'll wear it under like a Marshall pullover and be like, hey, look at this. For Christmas one year, I got him the Huntington F Yeah sticker to go with it. So he's got the sticker with it too. So
we have had that discussion of Rails and Ales.
Yeah.
Of as the night goes on, people want to outdo each other with what they buy.
Love it. Yeah.
Which is always just kind of a funny, unique situation.
So at noon, they're buying the cat socks. Right. At 5 p.m., they're buying the F Yeah
they're
shirts.
All in.
I do want to talk about e-commerce because I feel like, COVID, you all did really, you had to adjust, and I think you did a job with it. So,
thank you.
So talk about that shift.
Yeah.
Were you doing anything pre-COVID on e-commerce?
We were, I would say, we had maybe 10% of what we had in the shop was available online.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Getting through COVID is probably one of my proudest,
should be
things.
Any business that made it through COVID should be proud.
And what I did for the first 3 months, probably every single day, as long as I could stand it, was sit in front of the computer and work on the website and add items to the site.
Okay.
Because we did every bit of that ourselves.
Were you all allowed to be open during COVID? Were you allowed to be? But then you all didn't want people in there because of potential health things and so forth too, right?
Yeah.
Wait, were you allowed to be open? Were you all an essential business? All that kind of nonsense?
So we were just a normal
nonsense, but
No, we were just a normal retail store.
So you could.
So whenever other places could open, then we could have.
Got it.
We were closed for 14 months.
Okay. Wow. March to May of next year?
Yes.
Ish?
I believe May 1st was when we
2021?
reopened of 2021.
Okay.
And that's because I have Crohn's disease. I'm on a IV immunotherapy drug.
Got it.
To this day.
Yeah.
So all that stuff was really important. And I feel like the other part of that is we created such a tight-knit customer base that they both understood our situation, were on the same team. If I hate to have to call it that.
No.
But in terms of wearing masks and being cautious.
Yeah.
And we're just beyond supportive.
Yeah.
It was kind of this wonderful surprise.
That's right.
That we created this really wonderful community.
Yeah. So 3 months you're building up this website.
Yeah.
And while you're building it, was it still live, right?
It was.
You're just slowly but surely putting every single thing on there, right? Every sticker, every cup, which is going to take some time to do it.
Right.
What were sales like those first 3 months then during that process?
I would say the first month was rough.
Okay.
It was just because there wasn't that much there for them to buy.
And they didn't know.
And they didn't, right. And they didn't know what to do. They did, it was just, it was difficult for everyone.
Yeah.
As we started getting things on there, we started doing things like our gift packages, which really helped.
What's a gift package?
So we would put together little soap, socks, stickers, uplifting things that people could send to each other because they couldn't see them. We did a lot of like custom gift packages during COVID where we said, okay, purchase $100 and we'll put something together, show you what it looks like, box it up, send it to the person. Those did really well and helped us.
Yeah.
Honestly, people were sitting around watching TV. We sold like 60 Tiger King mugs.
Okay.
Like, because people, it was of the moment.
That's
people were
right.
into it.
Yeah.
And
you've always stayed on top of that.
Yeah.
Right? Of like what the hottest, the Taylor Swift mugs is probably been there for the last 18 months, or whatever. Yeah.
That kind of, because there's just been those different things that have been
Schitt's Creek.
Current. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank heavens for Schitt's Creek.
Right?
Like during COVID.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. I got it. No.
But they were a big part of the gift packages that we did.
Of course.
So, all of that stuff made a big difference.
Yeah.
And the fact that we missed having people in the shop, and we tried to recreate the experience as much as we possibly could. Mm-hmm. Putting candy, notes, different things in the packages, making it special so it wasn't just like you were ordering it from random whatever.
Right. What during this time, obviously the first month, and when the world shut down in March, right? What did you go? I guess we're gonna close down, or gosh darn it, we're gonna fight this thing, or what was your attitude like and your thoughts during that time?
We were scared.
Of course,
absolutely, but you don't love something as much as we love this, and have worked as hard at it before COVID to give up without a fight.
Yeah,
and if there's anything we're not afraid of, it's hard work.
Yeah.
So. I feel like there was just, it was going to be pretty hard to, to put us down.
Yeah. What, during like those first 3 months, what were some of the challenges? Time, obviously, is one. Time.
Absolutely.
But what other challenges during that transitional period?
Well, there was, we didn't ship anything in the volume. It was random shipping things here and there. And Scott had always done that, but this, as it did grow, and as we got the things on the site and we started to sell more, then he does all the shipping.
Okay.
And so
packs it up, takes it to the whatever. They pick up from you, or
they come and get it.
They come get it. Okay,
Yep. And USPS was a huge part of the COVID situation too for us, because they came every day, picked it up out front of the store, didn't come in. They were great. And, so he learned the cheapest and best way to do that, the supplies, the whole, because that was a whole other part of it.
That's right.
And getting it there safely, too.
Yep.
So that was a huge challenge.
Yeah, you got fragile stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
The technology was a challenge because, we used Shopify.
Okay.
And I had messed with it a little bit here and there, but I didn't want it to look like, I wanted it to look like approachable and easy for people to use and to make sense and to feel as much like they were shopping in the store as they possibly could.
Talk about Shopify. I mean, what's your experience with that? Are you still using it?
Yeah.
And recommend it, obviously. I mean, if you're...
I do.
What do you like about it? What do you not like about it?
It has issues.
Right.
But in terms of being the best of what's available, I think it is.
Okay.
And for us, that's because we can use the same system at the point of sale as we do online. Sense. The inventory all agrees. It takes something out, of inventory either way.
Yep.
And that's a huge deal for us.
Of course it is. Yeah.
All the sales go to the same place. All the numbers go to the same place. It keeps everything together. They change things. Sometimes while I go eat lunch and come back, I have to edit an item differently. Okay. So there's that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But, it's the issues have not been so huge.
Got it. Well, let me ask you this. So obviously, March of 2020 to May of 2021, 100% of your sales are e-commerce.
Sure.
Right? What percentage are they now, if you don't mind me asking? What percentage would you say is in store versus online?
I would say that unless it's during Christmas, but then the sales in the shop go up during Christmas.
That's
too.
right.
So I would say probably 5 to 10%.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not huge.
Okay.
It's nice to still go home and sell things here and there
In the middle of the night, right? Without the door being shut.
Yeah.
Are you all open 7 days a week?
6.
6 days a week.
Yeah,
So that seventh day,
you still
nice
get a
to see
sale
something
here and
going.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 10% is 10%.
Yeah. It's nice that I know, people come in the shop and have pre-shopped on the site. I can tell by the way they're asking for things and talking about things.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, it helps.
Yeah. That's interesting. So how often does that happen? They looked up, and how do you know they've done that online? Because they specifically go, hey, do you have that shirt that's
they do that
XL or whatever?
They do that sometimes, or I'll talk to them and they'll be like, yeah, I saw that on the site. Or, you know what I mean? You can just, you can tell that they've kind of looked around a little bit.
That's really interesting. I mean, that's important.
Yeah.
Right? I know we're in, go ahead.
It's important for people, because I don't want to overstate our place here or anything, but we get people that come from, that make trips. I
believe it.
We have people that have come from Michigan.
Okay.
Just to see us.
Wow.
People traveling through, across the country and make a side trip because they follow us online and come to Huntington to see the shop.
Yeah.
So when they can, look and see what we have and get a better idea of us from the site.
That's right.
I think that's important.
Totally agree, yeah.
To be able to have some idea, oh, no, I really need to see this place in person.
Sure.
So and then we, of course, feel that pressure of oh, God, we can't disappoint them.
That's right, yeah.
When they've made this kind of a trip,
yeah.
and you don't know when that's going to happen,
yeah.
So you feel you have to be at your best every day, which is nice to have that incentive, too.
Right.
So, I think all that stuff plays in together.
But I like the idea of having everything, all your inventory online,
Mm-hmm.
and people can pre-shop or
yeah.
whatever, because maybe you're not an impulse shopper, right?
Yeah.
And you need to see it once, twice, 3 times, whatever.
Sure.
Do I really want that shirt? Do I really want that? Will he really like this? Hey, do you think my husband would like this item? Right? I mean, and you can send a link and all that kind of
Absolutely.
stuff. Then you go, and now you've seen it 3 times. All right, I'm going to pick it up. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it would help your closing ratio in the store too,
yeah.
versus of, someone coming in.
And another thing that's nice about it is that it always feels like a huge compliment when people have family, friends, whatever, come to town and they bring them to the shop. And they bring them in such a way that they're like, oh, look at this thing that we have.
Yeah.
They're showing it off.
Yes.
And so then those people are like, oh my God, this is in my hometown now. I want to support this place.
Sure.
So we give them a card and say that, oh, guess what? You can.
Yes.
You can shop from us and we'll send it to you. And,
yeah.
That's a huge asset for the business as
well.
Yeah.
Are there, so 5-10% now, are you all still keeping the website you get a new item, boom, you're putting it on the, but I guess you have to because of the Shopify, because it's your POS system as well, right? So you already have to.
Right.
Yeah.
It gets it in inventory anyway.
Yeah.
So it does take a little bit longer to, create the item and make it worthy of the website.
Yeah.
But I'm, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So we just keep
totally
it
is.
Yeah.
What when you're again going back from 2020, let's use lessons from then, and they still apply now. I can buy whatever I want online. I can go to Amazon.com, right,
Sure.
and get just a bit, tons of stuff. And you're right, it's not as personable or whatever. But how do you stand out in such a crowded online world?
That's difficult.
Yeah.
And I think that is where we still. Some of the stuff, sometimes, when I enter items, I try to use the maker's name for the item.
Okay.
Because sometimes, say we have these Sipsy Wilder bags, and their patterns will sell out.
Okay.
People will search for them on Google.
Okay.
And they'll find us through them.
Okay.
Now that sometimes happens.
Yeah, sure.
But that's not most of the time it's people that have seen us somewhere, have been in the shop, have somehow connected with us in some way.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to stand out and just be found.
Yeah.
As a shop competing with Amazon.
All right,
or,
sure.
Or
Yeah.
Etsy or, something like that.
Yeah.
So for us, it mostly has become like a extra.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I do.
Like a convenience thing for our customers, a little bit of extra for us, publicity for the shop.
That's right.
So it's more, I feel like, of that type of a situation.
Sure. What about how do you use social media, digital marketing? How do you use it, not just for online sales, but just for your store in general?
So I think that Instagram definitely has changed. When we first opened the shop, or even during COVID, probably, maybe slightly after, I could have an item that, I thought people are really going to love this. And most of the time I was right, and we would sell them from the site almost immediately. That doesn't happen anymore. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Okay.
And I think, we don't get.
Give me examples of when it did happen. Like, can you think of an item that it did happen? You posted. So you're saying, like, we got a such and such, we got a bag, and hey, we now have these in stock, and then they would sell online. Is that what you mean? Like
the Schitt's Creek mugs, for example.
Yeah.
That they were one that I posted that we had them. They would blow out of the shop, blow out of the website, like. And I just don't think that happens like it used to. I don't think that people. I think that Instagram is much more focused on ads from small businesses rather than just posts.
Yeah.
So I just don't think people see them as much.
So you think maybe their AI is going, oh, she's trying to sling one of her new coffee mugs. Let's not make this show up in the feed as much.
Absolutely.
Right? Let's.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that
I'm not going to say you're wrong. Yeah.
I think that it's just changed in that way.
Yeah.
I've noticed that the posts about the plants have done better, and I think that is probably because I'm in them more. There's a face in them more. I'm not trying to sell a product as much as show people. Like,
I got it.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Give more information. Yeah. So I think those have been doing better.
Yeah.
But I do think that the social media world has changed a little bit, even in the 8 years that we've been open.
What platforms are you're on? You mentioned Instagram.
Just Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've not
that's
tiptoed into the world of TikTok.
What I was going to say,
like
no, but what I was going to say was like, that's a challenge now. Mm-hmm. Which one are you supposed to be on? And my answer, whenever people ask me that, is whichever one you are going to keep the most updated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do not, as a business owner, be like, oh, I got to be on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to, if you're a staff of 2, which is, sounds like you all, you're not going to keep all 5 or 7 of those updated.
No.
Which ones can you keep updated and keep content fresh on?
Right.
That's it. That's the answer. You know, I'm not saying you shouldn't be on TikTok or whatever, but like if you're not going to be, I'm not on TikTok either. I'm not. I'm 41. I'm giving up on, I'm trying to add all these new social medias in my world. So, but yeah, it's like whatever you can keep updated.
Yeah. That's kind of the way I feel about it.
Do you follow other, like on your own personal accounts or whatever, do you follow other, unique gift shops for inspiration? Yeah,
absolutely.
What do you get from those? Like,
so I will say that we have. So I in bigger cities, I follow some shops that I feel like have a similar vibe. Mm-hmm. I see new products that maybe I wouldn't see other places. I see ways of displaying them that I don't see, that we don't think about. And then I show those to Scott usually because he's the one that puts the stuff out.
Okay.
And it just kind of makes me crazy to do a display. Like,
got it.
I'll have some input, but that's it.
I got it.
But also with those, the other shops, we've gone to some places in other cities trying to look for ideas.
Yeah.
And I always feel like we're doing pretty good.
I don't disagree.
Because I'm happy with the way things stack up. Compared to places in Columbus or Cincinnati, or even we went to Denver last year. Yeah. And that felt really good to be able to feel like, I think we're doing okay.
Sure.
I'm happy with the way the shop looks and feels compared to these other places.
Right.
And the difference that I've seen going to so we went to 2 plant shops in Cincinnati.
Okay.
For the first plant shop, I was really excited about because they had like a killer Instagram. I thought it was going to be great. They didn't have very many plants, and there was a girl working there that didn't care whether we were there, what was happening.
Just an employee.
Yes.
Right? I get it.
We went to a second plant shop on a whim. The plant shop was beautiful, well-stocked. The couple that owned the shop were working at the shop. We ended up talking to them, got recommendations on place to eat, tons of different, a connection and conversation.
Got it.
And for us, that was a really, this is what people get when they come to our shop, is people that care about the area, for one thing, that care about the shop itself, that care about us.
Yeah.
So, it's those layers of connection with people that makes the difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's another thing we get from going to other places and seeing how they do things.
Yeah. You've been in the retail world how long now? Again, 2018? 2019?
So we opened in 2016.
When did you start doing more of
that? 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
What have you seen any fads or trends since from the last 6 years to now? Obviously, shows are going to come and go, Tiger Kings and Schitt's Creeks and whatever. But anything else that sold then, doesn't sell now, sells now, didn't sell then?
A funny thing that is animals, like different animals will be trendy, which is a really odd thing.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to figure out, llamas were super popular at the beginning.
Okay.
No one cares about llamas now.
Interesting. Sorry, llamas.
It's just odd. Axolotls were huge for a while.
What is that?
Those little weird creatures like they have at the museum that live in the water.
Yeah.
That look kind of like a salamander.
Yeah. Okay.
So axolotl everything for a couple of years.
Okay.
And they've really taken a nosedive.
Interesting. I wonder why. What about Mothman? You have some Mothman?
Mothman is a pretty...
He's hanging out there.
Yeah, he can really hold his own with everything. And the cryptids are pretty popular and stay popular, which is... And I like the Mothman thing for West Virginia. I think we could definitely do worse.
No, it's great. It's great folklore. It is.
And the reach is astounding.
That's right.
We had girls come into the shop that were here for the festival and came to Huntington and came from San Francisco.
Wow.
For the festival.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just that it's mind-blowing. And I'll get things from little tiny, individual artists from England that Mothman.
Okay.
They love Mothman.
It's funny.
So yeah, the reach is.
You mentioned San Francisco, Michigan, et cetera. I mean, we are missing out on tourism opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's just, you could come to Huntington, and we did an episode with Audie Perry from Heritage Farm on tourism. And, you can hit 3 states in one day, literally 3 states in 20 minutes, and, go whitewater rafting, go hiking, hit a festival somewhere. There's going to be a festival. There's a Mothman festival, a pumpkin festival, whatever festival. And then eat, drink, and shop in downtown Huntington. It can really be a nice 2-day, 3-day weekend here. It really can.
Because so we're both from here, and we lived in New England for a while. And we saw that utilized better, I think, there. That they're much more... I
think it's getting better here.
Yes.
But I hear you.
I think they're further ahead.
Yes, that's right.
And this was, 10, 15... probably longer ago than I want to think about now.
Yeah, sure.
But I do think that we have the same sort of vibe and things to offer, and they were just a little bit better or had gone further with knowing how to promote that.
Sure.
And find the value in that.
Yeah, sure. So you've added plants. Any other future plans or... expansions or whatever. What's next for Full Circle?
The plants are going to keep me busy for a while.
I got it. Okay. This is my plan.
There is a learning curve with the plants. I told Scott I am learning, a lot about plants quickly, which is I'm excited about. I've had some health problems with my shoulder and stuff. I haven't been able to do the ceramic work. The plants have kind of taken the place of that. It feels like a very creative thing to work with, something living, and I kind of always like the thing that I do to entail a risk of chaos, which both ceramics and plants do.
Right.
They can certainly die.
Yes.
So, we want to do that, and we want to. We have a big plant swap planned for May 19th.
Nice.
On the patio
Yeah.
at the shop. So we want to do some community events. We've
That's awesome.
For the past couple years, we were pretty tight with family stuff, and
Okay.
that has opened up a lot, and there's a lot we haven't done.
Okay.
Just because of time and the ability to do stuff. So we're excited to be able to do
Sure.
events and plan some things that we haven't been able to do.
Can you ship your plants? Have you ever gone back to the e-commerce thing?
We've gotten questions about that.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future.
Okay.
We're not quite ready to.
But it can
to
be
manage
done.
that. Yeah. Shockingly well too.
Yeah. Okay.
I would never imagine plants could ship as well as some of the ones that we've gotten, because some of the rare ones we have had to ship from other places.
Yeah.
And most of them arrive surprisingly in
Right.
good shape.
So, and when you're talking about your plants and stuff, I mean, are you growing these things from the seed up? What's the process?
Some of them I'm propagating and growing them. Some of them I will get like a surprisingly large specimen of a plant and be able to take cuttings off of it, sell that one, take some cuttings, grow my own cuttings. So both ways.
Okay.
We're propagating some of them. We've turned what was my studio into a kind of more of a place to do that, and then getting them from a couple of other growers. And
do you have your
other small
own
businesses.
kiln? Is that the word?
Yeah.
I just wanted to let people know I know the word kiln. That's all.
Yes.
That's the only reason. So, is it there at the shop?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Going back, I just want to say it, like I said, just to let people know, like I know that word. What, as we're getting towards the end here, what advice would you give to other businesses looking to establish or grow, their e-commerce? Anything you know now that you wish you knew at the beginning of this thing? Any other advice you'd offer?
I really the picking the platform that works both in the shop and Square will do that too. Both in the shop and online, because I just feel like if you don't have something that's going to take care of your inventory both ways, then you're just going to be fighting yourself
going crazy
from day one.
Yep.
And don't keep it simple enough that you can handle it.
Okay.
Because if it gets out of control, then you're just not going to do it.
Yep.
If it's too hard.
Yeah.
But it is doable. I have zero training whatsoever.
No, of course.
This.
Yeah.
And I taught myself. And if there is anything, especially with Shopify, so many people use it. If you run into anything, you can Google it and find a solution.
Right. Or YouTube it maybe, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
I have edited code from a YouTube, Google video search.
Sure.
There was a point where it was only a couple hours, but it was shut down during the pandemic from something that I did. I Googled that and fixed the code.
Yeah.
So you can do it.
That's right.
It's not rocket science. They make it easy on purpose because they want to sell it to you.
That's right. And they get their cut off of it, right? I mean, that's
right.
Yeah.
It has to be user friendly in order for that to work.
Yeah. Anything else I missed or that you want to add?
I think my only other advice is that be willing to pivot as much as you need to.
And you have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The thing that I see is when people are so tied to a very specific vision or a very specific endpoint that they won't deviate from that and listen to customers and listen to what's working and what's not, then they end up not making it. You just have to be able to, and you don't have to completely, you don't ever have to go against your values, but you do have to change if you need to.
And that's our episode. Thanks for listening. And thank you, Noelle, for joining us. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and even leave us a 5-star review. Season 2 of In Your Business is presented by Moses Auto Mall of Huntington, mosesmeansmore.com, and powered by the Huntington Regional Chamber of Commerce and Kindred Communications.